Good morning, you fine folk. How are we all today? You find me on a chilly Friday morning. We've had a flurry of snow earlier on, but it seems to have passed now. So I'm heading off to the cinema. It's Friday, 10th of March, the film I've been looking forward to since I saw the first teaser trailer last autumn, I think it must have been. 65. Adam Driver, prehistoric Earth, dinosaurs. What's not to love? A nice, punchy 90-minute monster film. I can't wait. I love stuff like this. I'm really looking forward to seeing it. So I'm going to grab some breakfast on the way, as per tradition. And I will probably talk about the film when I get back to the car. So I'll see you in a bit. Rah! Oh, Quicksand, how I've missed you. Right, 65. I decided to record my responses back in the cinema room, because it's a bit chilly out today and I had a couple of things to do before I came home. And I needed time to think about the film a little bit. Not too much, because it's not a big cerebral cinematic masterpiece. 65 is one of the films that I've been really looking forward to for months, as I said. I think the first trailer dropped last September, October maybe, and it was a man versus dinosaurs. What's not to love? So I was really looking forward to this. I thought this is going to be one of the, maybe not necessarily films of the year, but one of the films of the year I was really looking forward to, because like most little boys, I love dinosaurs. I've always liked dinosaurs. I always find it fascinating to think that these extraordinary predators, these creatures, ruled the planet for millions of years until they became extinct 65 million years ago, which of course is where the title of this film comes from. In the end, I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it in the way that I sort of hoped that I would. Several reasons for that, which I will come on to. The basic story is Adam Driver stars as an astronaut called Mills. He's an alien astronaut. He's not a human, although he looks human. He is transporting a cargo of his people in cryogenic suspension across space when he's caught in a meteor storm, an asteroid storm, and crashes on this steaming primeval wilderness. The only survivor of the crash is a young girl called Koa, played by the grandly named Ariana Greenblatt. And together the two of them have to make their way across a desperately hostile terrain filled with terrible creatures, treacherous landscape and all sorts of other hidden horrors, to find their way back to a part of the shattered spaceship wherein is an escape pod that will take them away from the planet. Their task becomes even more urgent when one of Mills's gizmos tells him that there's a strange object on its way towards the Earth, which turns out to be a giant asteroid, the Planet Killer, which caused the extinction level event which wiped out the dinosaurs. So, by an extraordinary coincidence, not only have our heroes found themselves on prehistoric Earth, they found themselves on prehistoric Earth the day before all life there is wiped out. Whoa, that's a bit of bad luck. It's one of the things that I suppose took the edge off the film slightly for me, because this is a big, broad science fiction monster action adventure film. But the fact that they arrive at this particular moment is just sort of plot contrivance and plot convenience, which is sort of irritates perhaps more than it should in a film of this type. But I did like the film. I thought it was very enjoyable, very watchable, but it didn't give me that wow kick that I really thought it would, considering that the trailer suggested it was full of dinosaurs. And that was part of the problem, really, because you see the trailer and you see a lot of the dinosaur action, because there's not enough dinosaurs in it. And the ones we do see, a lot of them are fanciful things that have been dreamt up for the purposes of this film. We get a sort of a T-Rex type creature which runs about on all fours. It's ostensibly the body of a T-Rex, but with four legs. And then one of the film's good action scenes is where they're attacked by this pack of reptile things, which sort of crocodile spidery sort of things that scuttle around with extended sort of beak type noses. You get your raptors, you get a cameo appearance by a flock of pterodactyls, you do get a T-Rex in it, But too much of the film for me was spent with the characters trapped in caves or trying to get out from somewhere where they've hidden. And some slightly get on with it moments where Mills is thinking about his daughter who's been ill, and he wants to sort of get back to his people and trying to bond with this young girl. And it just, you're watching these two sort of getting to know each other and bonding a bit when you really want them to get attacked by a monster. The film is budgeted at about 90 million, so it's sort of a mid-range sort of blockbuster, and it runs for 90 minutes, so it's not a big long film. And it's obvious that, you know, special effects to bring dinosaurs and things to life ain't cheap. And I got the impression that a bit like Cocaine Bear recently, the creatures are used sparingly, shall we say. And when they're there, they're great, they dominate the screen, but I did get a bit narked by the fact that some of these creatures weren't the classic dinosaurs. I mean, there were no brontosauruses, no triceratops, none of your favourite actual proper dinosaurs apart from a T-Rex that appears. So I was a bit underwhelmed by that. The last act is very tense and very exciting in a very predictable way because they have to get back to their escape capsule. The planet-killing asteroid is plunging into the atmosphere, and all these smaller asteroids causing these sort of fire bombs around the place. It looks very spectacular. It looks bigger than it cost. But I didn't quite click with it in the way I wanted to. And I really wanted to be doing this review saying, see this film, this is fantastic, this is so exciting. Because it's a bit of an underdog film. It hasn't been very well reviewed so far. I think it's a bit of a sign of a slight problem with the film when there's an embargo on reviews until the day a film's released. As if the studio hasn't got a lot of faith in it, hasn't allowed critics to see it early. And reviews that have come out haven't been very positive. It's 3/4 of the film I wanted it to be. It didn't make me think, wow, I've got to see that again. I want to see that bit again. I want to see that bit again. Because it is quite generic. It's not bad. It's not a bad film. It's very well made, very well directed. Incidentally, it's written and directed by Scott Beck and Brian Woods, who they wrote and directed it, and they're probably best known for A Quiet Place that they wrote a few years ago. What a great film that is. They're obviously very good in coming up with great concepts, and that's exciting. And you do sort of think, well, I can't believe this hasn't been done before. I mean, we've had Man vs. Dinosaur in all those cheesy Hammer films in the 60s, and of course the Jurassic World Park films. But we haven't had this sort of film where people are in prehistory fighting dinosaurs in this way, and that's a good idea. I just don't think they quite made the most of it, and it's hard to know really what could have been done to have made the most of it, apart from having a lot more dinosaur action. So I'm not going to say I was disappointed by it, but I suppose I was, because it wasn't exactly what I hoped it would be. It wasn't that sort of visceral, edgier seat sort of exciting thing. It's perfectly serviceable. It's a lot better than those cheap, low-budget monster Jurassic this, Jurassic that you see on the shelves in Asda. But it isn't quite what I wanted it to be. And I wanted it to be really good because I wanted it to do well. Because I do quite like underdog films that get a bit of a hammering from critics. I like it when they, the cream rises to the top and they do well. But I can't, in all conscience, say that I think this deserves to do brilliantly. I mean, I'm sure it'll do okay. It'll find its audience. And I'm not saying it's a bad film, but it just wasn't quite as good as I wanted it to be. But it's worth seeing. If you like a monster film, I think you'll enjoy this. But like me, you'll probably think I want more monsters and less sort of, hunkering down in caves. And there's lots of scenes. I mean, Mills has got lots of futuristic weapons. He's quite cool weapons. He's got this really good pulse gun, and he's got these little grenade-y type things, and he's got this computer gizmo that no matter how damaged it gets and covered in mud and quicksand, it still operates and gives him directions for him to get back to the ship. So there's a lot of that sort of sci-fi gubbins bolstering it up a bit. But it's 90 minutes of your time. You won't come out of it thinking that was crap, but you will probably come out of it thinking like that could have been a bit better. But it's not a bad film, and I had a good time with it. So that's 65, which is in cinemas now. Go and see it, make up your own mind, and if you do, why not let me know what you thought of it? Leave a comment down below. While you're there, you could subscribe to the channel, would be smashing. Leave a comment, thumbs up and all that sort of stuff. 65 is out in cinemas now, and I'm going to give it 7 out of 10, which is probably more than you might have expected here in my review. And I've tried, it's hard not to focus on the things I didn't like, because those are the things that I didn't like, I suppose, or was disappointed by, or weren't what I wanted them to be. But it's not a bad film at all. It's worth your time, I think. Right, thank you for watching. More stuff coming soon. Until then, keep taking the stuff.